All right, so this video will focus on 9.2. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at the area of these various triangles. Now, although this looks like two triangles, it's really one large triangle, right? So I have a 7 by 6, so this is 42. And then you divide it by half because it's half a square still. So this one would be 21 inches squared. This one here is 12 by 4. Now, what we talked about in class is that instead of like multiplying and then dividing, you could actually divide one of these numbers right on the get-go. So if I divide 4 by, let's say, 2, I have 2 times 12, which is 24. Instead of 6, I can make it 3, right? 3 times 7 is 21. Instead of 18, I can make it 9. We only do this because it makes it a little bit more efficient. It's up to you how you solve them, but you can do that if you would like. So 171, and then finally 195.5. And what we want to focus on is finding the surface area of a pyramid. And to understand a pyramid, we have to realize that there's different shaped pyramids. There's four-sided shaped, there's three-sided shaped, and so on. And what we're basically trying to do is figure out what are the areas of all of the sides. So let's look at one like this, for instance. If I look at this, I have basically 4 different sides. This is a square base on this one, right? So I have an 8 times an 8. Let's just write this down. So on my bottom, for my base, I have this 8 by 8, and that equals 64 units squared. I then have 4 sides that are going to be 8 by 14, right? So I have 8 times 14. And we discussed before that you could actually make this like 4 times 14, because what I'll do is whatever I get for this answer, I'm just going to divide it by 2. So in this case, it's 56, right? So this must be 112. If I take that. So in any case, I have a total of 4 of these, right? So I have my base, which is 64, and then I have 56 4 times. And I would add all these things up, and that's how I determine my surface area. Now to get to my calculator, let's just quickly do this, figure out what we get. I look here, and I have 56 times 4 plus 64. I get a total of 288 units squared. And it's units squared because it's surface area, right? So I'm going to put 288 units squared. And that's for this one. Now notice how that's different from this triangle on this side. Let me move this over real fast. Because this one, instead of having my square base, I have a triangular base, which will actually affect it 2 different ways. Number 1, of course, my triangular base will be different. So if I look here, and on my bottom of this base, I'm going to have a 6.9 by 8, right? So I'll figure that out. So if I just do 6.9, and I could go by 4 if I'd like, but I'll do what it says here, by 8 equals, and then divide by 2. This is why I said I could divide or multiply by 4. It would be 27.6. So I'll just put this down here, 27.6. And now I have, instead of having 4 sides like I had before, I only have 3 sides. And each one of my sides now are equal to 8 by 14. So I'll just do a little triangular side. And I'll have 8 times 14. Again, I could have 4 times 14. If I don't feel like going through the extra steps, but we'll go through the extra steps. 8 times 14 equals, divided by 2. And this is 56 as well. But I have only 3 of these instead of having the 4. And that's because my base is triangular with 3 sides. So I take 56 times 3 plus 27.6. I'll get 195.6. Units squared. And that's how I determine these various sides. Now, I just drew them out like this. Some people will actually make these net things that I'll show you what it looks like. It's a net. So like for the square one, it would have been like this. And then for the triangular base, it would have been like this. Sorry, this is not very good. Apologize. Whatever. So then they'd all fold up. And I can fold the nets. So that's another way you can do this. And it looks kind of like this right here. And what we're doing is we're determining the area of the base. We look at the lateral faces, which are what these things represent. The lateral faces that kind of go up. Determine those and just add them all together. So here's what I want you to try. Pause it and then try to figure out what it actually equals. All right, so now that you've had a chance to draw it, first of all, you draw your net. Should look like this if you want. We know our base is 5 by 5, so that's 25. And then I have this 5 by 40, which is 20. I'm sorry, which is 40. And then I have to divide by 2, which would be 20. So my full answer should be 20, 40, 60, 80, plus 25. So that'd be 105. And that's 105 units squared. This one here, instead of having a picture, it's saying what it looks like based on words. So you could draw this out. And it's 207 centimeters squared. This one here, again, we're going to look at this. Instead of being a square base, though, it's a triangular base. So there's only 3 lateral faces. When I look here, I'm going to have to draw my net first of all. So again, it looks a little bit different. That's what this was supposed to represent right here. Sorry about that picture again. And then I go through and figure out the area of each of the triangles. If I look here, I have 43.5. I have a total of 70, and there's 3 of these, right? So I'll say 70 times 3 is 210, plus 43.5, and that equals 253.5 units squared. All right, so for this diagram, we basically have our net, and I'm going to go through and draw it all out. But we're trying to buy shingles here, right? And I don't care about the base, I just care about the lateral faces. So this one here would be 18 times 15. And for each one of these, that would equal 50 or 135. And I have this is 135, this is 135, and this is 135. But I really do not care about this area here because I'm not covering it with shingles. So when I add this up, I have my 135 plus 135 plus 135 plus 135. And I get a grand total of 540 units squared. So that's what covers up these shingles here. And I have to take 540 divided by 25. And when I do that, I'm going to get 21.6. And I can't walk into any store and get 21.6 bundles. It won't work. So I have to go up to 22. And that's where they get this number from. Finally, here's the last one where I go through and I have to figure out the surface area of this pyramid. Again, I need the base plus the lateral faces. And I have 105.6. The other one says, imagine that I have 32 square feet bundles. How many bundles will I need? So I take my 540 and divide by 32. And in this case, if I take 540, so 540 divided by 32, I get 16.8, which is why they run up to 17. And that's the lesson.